Ladies and gentlemen, this is my Module 3, EDL 954 Finance Report. One thing I noticed about the Wichita Public School is how much larger in finances they deal with than even the next largest district in the state, which is the Kansas City, Kansas public school system, followed by some of the Shawnee Mission and Salina, Topeka, some of the larger cities. But by percentages, the Wichita School District spends relative to even the larger ones in some of the medium-sized school districts in the state. So let's get to looking here on a macro level. The assessed evaluation of the district is almost $3 billion, and that's just the value of all of the property that the district owns, and it's very useful for different assessments and evaluations as they are looking for funds. The total cash balance in the district coffers is $761 million plus, and they listed their sources of revenue, which I found very interesting, that the federal side of things is only $71 million, which is a very small portion of that, about 10%, and then the state makes up most of that funding, with the local coming in with the second highest amount. The district overall has the largest enrollment of any district in the state at nearly 50,000 students, and it is the largest district in the state with approximately 11% of the entire state's student population enrolled in Wichita Public Schools. The class sizes are spread from about 3,100 juniors to the largest class size listed was 3,864 fourth graders. So relatively close, but when you look at the percentages, it's about the same as if a district that had 40 kids and 62 kids in a class. It's no different. Very rich, diverse student body population in the Wichita School District. There's something like almost 100 languages spoken in the district and at home from our students. 35.3% Hispanic, down to 0.3% Pacific Islander, and the students that come from homes of poverty is 76.5%, which we'll get a little closer look at later when we look at free and reduced lunches. USD 259 offers a full all-day kindergarten for free, and there are 3,612 students enrolled in that program. They do not offer a partial day program in the district, at least at the kindergarten level. So for all those students in the district, we have 4,359.3 certified staff and 2,268.7 non-certified staff, and that's over 6,600 employees in the district. And we again are the fourth largest employer in the metropolitan Wichita area. The pupil to teacher ratio is about 16.1, and as I compared that to other districts on the KSDE website, that is on the higher side. It's not the highest for sure, but it is above average for the pupil-teacher ratio, which I think speaks very highly to the commitment to the district to spend a lot of money on staffing and teacher salaries. When looking at how they spend their money, I was not completely surprised, but some of the numbers did stand out as shocking to me just because of the sheer numbers we're dealing with. But their total expenditures listed for the 2019-2020 school year were over $709 million, and they figured that about $14,904 was spent per pupil, and each pupil's revenue was $15,384. So the difference in those, the way I looked at it, was the money that we received from all of our sources. If you divided that among the student population, that's the $15,384 number, but what we actually spent per pupil was a little bit less, because there are some things that from what I read, the district cannot say was spent on students. So that's the difference in that. But $356 million did go to instruction or instruction-related purposes, and 87% of the district's budget was directly to the benefit of students, classrooms, and schools. And the teachers and superintendents and principals' average salaries are listed here, obviously in high to low order. Again, the teacher average salary across the state of Kansas was on the high side. We were within the top 10 of the highest teacher salaries in the state of Kansas. One of the reasons that I teach in this district. spend a lot of money on transportation every year, almost $14 million, and that is through busing contracts that we use. Wichita Public Schools does not own their own buses, much like a smaller district might have their name on the side of a bus. Wichita actually contracts with a company that's housed here in Wichita that takes care of all of our busing needs. Now, that's not to say that the district doesn't own vehicles. There are other vehicles involved in the district, such as maintenance trucks, various, I'm assuming district office staff, their vehicles available, if not full-time given to them. And also some of our extracurricular things like equipment haulers and those type of things that we use in the district cost money. Now, looking back at our poverty levels in Wichita that are pretty high because it is an urban school, there are 37,049 students enrolled in the free and reduced program. 32,000 of those are free and just a few under 5,000 are reduced. That's about 75% of our district on free or reduced lunches, and that compares to the state average of 47% of Kansas students are on free and reduced lunches. One way they do generate revenue in the district is meal pricing. Although with 75% students getting free or reduced, this doesn't generate money, if at all, but like a smaller district might. But this is something where lunches, when a student pays full price, those prices are listed there for each elementary, middle, and high school for breakfast and lunch. Mills. The mills are set right now at 53.183. The state gives a general allotment of 20, and then from there we have supplemental to the general of 15.862, and then they add amounts for capital outlay, special liability, and bond interest to pay for the bond interest. They add to the mills for a total of just over 53, and what that is 1/10 of 1% on a tax rate on the assessed valuation of your home. So for every $1,000 your home is worth, you're going to pay just over $53 in mill tax towards the school district. The district has 95 buildings of some sort, and you can see the breakdown there, mostly elementary schools, and then there are various buildings for learning here. This doesn't even count the maintenance type buildings that we might have on site in some of these places. Capital outlay, just under $50 million in the capital outlay budget for the district. 38 million of that is provided by local funds, 11 million from the state, and I was surprised to see that $0 are listed from the federal side, and I'm not sure that that doesn't have something to do with the legalities of federal money coming into the school districts, that money cannot be used for capital purchases. That's an assumption. I don't have any way to back that up, but that is an assumption of mine as I thought about it. And this money covers capital purchases that can be used for building upgrades, adding on, refurbishing HVAC units, purchasing trucks, purchasing equipment. Any of those large capital purchases, this money can be used. Bond and interest. We owe about $40.855350 million. 23 million of that is from the local, 17 million from the state, and again $0 from the federal on our bonds. But since 2000, we've spent about $654 million in bond improvements in the district. Large amount of money. And our total debt with all of that is $342,960,000, and that is listed as of the end of fiscal year, June 30th of 2019. So that is a very, very quick and broad overview of the district finances. I was interested to find out as I went along to see all the breakdown that they do have listed that's outside of their budgets at a glance, that's outside of the KSDE website, some of the breakdown of where the funds are encumbered and where they plan to spend money from the variety of reasons that we have to spend money in a school district. Thank you, and there are my references.